Pirate adventure? Bet your ass I did. Every single common complaint of text adventures is addressed in Pirate Adventure. Probably the most common problem I witness people having with text adventures is that they interpret the challenge as just being frustrating. That's because the games are designed in a way that the types of challenges aren't properly introduced so that it seems obtuse to the player. Pirate Adventure makes a point to show you up front what kind of challenges to expect and what kind of logic the puzzles will adhere to. In Colossal Caves, when you first start, you pick up everything and you walk around. In Adventureland, when you start, you pick up everything and you walk around. So new players think that adventure games are all about picking up everything and walking around. Then when it comes time to figure out what verb to use or for your first death, they just get frustrated and feel like it's random and obtuse. To escape the very first room, you need to figure out to type "go stairs." That communicates the player to expect non-cardinal directions. You're then greeted with the second room. To the left, a window on a tall building and an obvious death. That tells you that death will be in the game and gives you the chance to safely die without losing much progress. As a side note, I hate when people say that an adventure game is so brutal because you can die on the first or second screen. That's not brutal design, that's forgiving design. It gives you a chance to die early and to see how death is handled, and it establishes that death is in the game. To the right, you have a bookcase with a secret passage behind it. Okay, go passage doesn't work. Open bookcase doesn't work. How do you open the bookcase with the secret passage behind it? You take a book. That establishes to the player that it's on them to interact with things in a logical way. Plus, it gives them the book, which is very important to both story and gameplay. You can also find a second item from the bookcase which establishes that you can do the same thing twice. You'll need to do this later to find items in the pirate's chest. Once you're in the passageway, then cardinal directions are briefly introduced in the tunnel. That takes you to the attic. There are a couple items here. If you've been picking everything up, then you're going to encounter a problem here. You don't have enough inventory space. You're going to need to drop some things to pick stuff up. Juggling your inventory is one of the main challenges of the genre, and many people interpret it as some kind of inconvenience because it's not properly introduced until you're deep into the game usually. Also, you need to find matches by opening the duffel bag. That's 2 times in a row that an essential item is attained by finding it within another object. Pirate Adventure features lots of little improvements, such as more constructive "you can't do that" text, and it even suggests verbs for some of the more tricky things like "set sail." Finally, Pirate Adventure does not require you to draw a map. It's small enough and the locations are simple enough that you can just play. I think that maybe a little something is lost without needing to map, but the smoothness of the overall experience is worth it. Another big area of improvement is in the story and overall experience. Pirate Adventure is meant to be played through. It has story moments, puzzles that make sense, and areas that are meant to be navigated by a first-time player. It's not just an abstract open world with treasures to collect. You start out in a refreshingly grounded setting, an apartment in a tall building. You're just you, presumably. The item that you get from the bookshelf describes how Long John Silver hid 2 treasures on Treasure Island, and it says to say yo-ho. I wonder what I'm supposed to yo-ho to. I guess it must be a password for later or something? Once you've explored the whole area, you have nowhere else to go. You tried everything. You're just in the normal world, pondering this myth about Treasure Island. Then you try it. You just say, yo-ho. Bam! You're on Pirate Island. This moment is so rad because it restrains you to the normal world while giving you hints about the adventure. You basically have to get stuck and start trying random things to solve this part. It really feels like you figured out some mystical, magical thingy-wingy. Once you're on Pirate Island, it's clear that you need to find a way to get to Treasure Island. You're just stranded on this island with absolutely no clue how to progress or what you're actually doing. So you do some puzzle solving, you find some lumber and construction stuff, you discover that Treasure Island is a short distance away, you give rum to a pirate, you open his chest, there's ship blueprints and a map in there, and wait, what? Ship plans? I have most of this stuff. No fucking way. Dude, building the ship is fucking metal. The way that the pieces come together in this section blows me away. This is the kind of proper story moment that was lacking in previous text adventures. Now it's time to go to Treasure Island. If you're like me, you brought every single item onto the ship because you don't know what you'll need. Pulling up to Treasure Island is such a cathartic experience. You just want to dig everywhere, and there's something to find on every single screen. You're also not allowed to take the book on this trip, so you really feel the tension. Deaths are going to be real now. There's some traditional adventure puzzling and even a reference to Colossal Cave Adventure. If you've played that, then you know how to get rid of the snake. Also, the fact that Coming Back from the Dead is done with the pirate book is a really good idea because Scott Adams can decide which sections will have real death. Okay, now let's talk about the bad stuff. Finding the pirate back in your apartment is kind of bullshit. It isn't established that important things are going to be there after you leave. And also the key under the rug. Why is it there? I thought the rug being nailed down was a cute reference to Adventureland because the rug was a very important item that you have to have on you at all times. But it's totally stupid in this context because, like, why would the keys be under the rug on the floor at your place? Anyway, that's my video. Bye.